I need to. What else? What else was the thing I was going to do? Right, hang on. Just let me get this right here. So.
Did you start streaming?
Yeah, no, we're all streaming, mate. It's apparently it's all working. You tell me. You can have a look at it.
Okay. Yeah. You're live on YouTube. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And what about the volume? What about the volume? Can you hear me?
Wait, let me listen. Give me a second.
Okay. Right, guys. I am just setting things up so that I'm starting my live now before we get into the US Open. Just a hands up if you can hear me, guys, and see everything, and everything's okay with the audio and visual.
On YouTube, it looks amazing. So.
Great. That's good news. Anyone at Apex in the chat, can you just tell me yes or no whether you can hear me?
There's currently 46 people in the audience.
Yeah.
Discord.
Loud and clear. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna get used to these lives. They're all a little bit. My streaming skills have had an incredibly steep learning curve. That's for sure. So I'm going to. And Rainus, are you there, mate? Can you tell me? Can you tell me what happens or doesn't happen when I minimise that screen? I need to go into my Bloomberg and get my Bloomberg up and running.
Minimize it.
So
You can minimize it.
no. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's fine. One sec. So guys, we are going to. It's going to be. This is a fascinating situation, right? And I'm going to focus on Intel to begin with because it's the only thing on the open that is very high touch for me. Even with my tiny little position that I've got, 5,000 shares into the print. Yet another wonderful example of why one doesn't bother taking. What's the point? Why would you? Intel easily could have missed last night, by the way. So, but you know, it's yet another example of how just how strong the demand is, right? Coming from the entire space. Novo Nordisk doesn't get a mention ever, but that's nice. There was some news earlier on, so that's nicely ticking up as well. Today started off feeling very uncomfortable, quite frankly, you know, just in terms of what's going on. But it's an Aiden, good, that's nice as well. Look at that, that's moving. So the book's actually looking good as long as I can get Intel under control. So I'm just going to bring Intel up here on my Bloomberg and have a look. And next time I go live, guys, I'm going to work out how to share all these screens with you. But for the time being, it's just a little bit tricky. So just bear with me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, what's up?
You have to hang up and go live on TikTok on your phone.
Yeah, no, I'm going to do that now. Okay.
See you. Good luck.
Okay, thanks, mate. Bye.
It's all been planted in the.
Look at Intel. Right, how wonderful. So, guys, let me just talk you through what I did this morning, right? So, this stock, it doesn't matter what the earnings are. It doesn't matter what the analysts have had to say. What's going on? The reason why I got really aggressive this morning is because I've seen an opportunity, right? I need to fix the situation I've got in hand, which, of course, massively offside on this position. But as I said to you yesterday, I hope it goes higher because I want to sell a massive clip. I was hoping it was going to go 10%. It turned out to go 20. I sold my clip this morning when it was up 29.5%, right? So I'm up 7% on the position. And it is, and it's going to, my position's probably going to end up in the green, right? And this is a great example of using trading to your advantage, okay? So what did I do? I sold 15,000 shares. Right, hang on a sec. I'm just going to go live on TikTok, guys. Bear with me a sec. Right, So here we go. Oh God, take a breath. It's going to be wild today, guys. Wild. So Intel it traded at 81 a minute ago. I'm going to wait a little bit. I'll wait for the open, and I'm going to look to lock in my. Those of you who are joining me on TikTok, I'm going live for the US Open in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to talk through what I'm doing with Intel to begin with. Which I have a very small short position, which I was kind of hoping was going to rally, and then I would sell more because it's an overbought. We're dealing with a very unique market. Okay, so RSIs of 90, and it's not a normal thing by any stretch of the imagination for so many stocks to be in this boat. Intel's kind of trying to spike again now. This is going to be a fun open, so I've got to be careful, right, with this beat. It's a very spicy little situation with Intel. So. What I did is I sold 15,000 shares at 85, whatever it was, and I'm going to look to cover those probably at 81. Some of them, and I'll try and get a few more at 80 if I can. Right? That means I've made what, 9% or something, and 8%, and then I'm going to, given the size of my position, I'm going to be, in a good spot. I would have basically made back all the money I lost and made some more. So all good. And then I'm going to move on to the other stuff that's going on, which is equally as ridiculous in so many different areas. But just make no mistake, the market has melted up as a result of the bearish positioning a couple of weeks ago. The market has actually essentially been ignoring the headlines with regard to Iran and Trump, but at the same time, there's good reason for that, because we all know that it's all nonsense, right? The headlines are nonsense. Even when the chief negotiator for the Iranians resigned, the market still doesn't care. All market cared, rallied up yesterday a bit, but we're dealing with a tale of two markets, right? We've got the value markets, which of course had their moment in the sunshine, the FTSE and Europe and Japan, all of which are economically sensitive. But when the war broke out and oil started ripping, that put a lid on that trade. And then and that coincided with tech being quite low at that moment in time. And tech was off the boil. And rarely is it not a good idea to buy tech when it's off the boil, especially when you just start to see a barrage of numbers coming in, whether it be TSMC or SK Hynix or GE Vernova or Siemens Energy. The entire AI CapEx ecosystem continues
Amazon hits a
to show
52-week
us
high at the open.
why it's so strong. It's
Micron also hitting a 52-week high.
And it's, sorry, I'm just listening to my Bloomberg Squawk Box. You guys are going to have to get used to it. So here we go. We're opening up now. Let's see what can happen with our good old Intel, shall we? So I'm going to cover 5,000 shares here at 82. Hang on a sec. Let's get this right. One sec. Oh, is the video not working, guys? Sorry.
Intel shares soar 26% to Eclipse.com near a record high.
Is the video okay? Right. Are we all good, guys? Nice. Fantastic. So let's see this open. Let's watch this stock open, right? It's going to be all over the shop, this stuff. Intel's rallied all the way back. Okay, all right, here we go. So, right, just bear with me whilst I look at all these prices. It's absolutely hilarious. So I'm going to wait. This is a classic situation. You've got to wait for the open, right? The open will always provide volatility for you to trade and look at. Meanwhile, what else have I got on the go here? I'm just going to do that as well. Just bear with me a sec. I'm going to get rid of that thing. Okay, there we go. Goodbye. And goodbye. That's good. And there we go, Marvell. Okay, so Marvell's also come off a little bit on the open. So let me just get my TikTok guys back up. Right, so
regarding the chip
so let's
sector,
just so I'm just going to go through the things on my screen that I'm looking at. Intel's
up
come off quite
10%,
nicely. I'm going to keep
AMD's
a
up
close eye on that.
11%.
The thing is that let's just look at. I just want to check something, guys. Right? What is the
S&P
actual
opens
RSI for
0.4%
Intel right now?
higher.
14-day
Nasdaq up
RSI is the only
1%.
one we care about in the professional world. 82. Okay, it's not too dramatic, given that well, it is very dramatic, but nonetheless not as dramatic as it potentially could have been. But we'll see. I'm just going to let the market open up a bit, let it breathe, and in the meantime, just put my attention over to some other stocks that are going on. Look at Poet. I mean, wow. I obviously covered my short in Poet yesterday, which was just very much a trading situation. But this market is absolutely. I mean, listen. Those of you who haven't seen a situation like this before,
And the
it's
VanEck
very
Semiconductor
easy
ETF,
to look at it and go, wow,
that's up
okay, this
over
is
4%.
this is. So I'm going to cover 10,000 shares of Intel at 83.45. Okay, 83.45. Let me just quickly get that done. 83.45. Okay. Okay. GIP.
Procter and Gamble says has
And I'm going to keep trading
$150
this today
million
because now it's
of
got a
tariff
fantastic
refunds
situation.
available.
So there we go, 83.45, and I'm just going to keep an eye on the rest of it for the moment. So it's just so extraordinary. What's my little friend Marvell doing? I mean, listen, Marvell's now on a. What are we doing here? By the way, guys, I just wanted to talk you through what
and AMD rises
some of the things,
11.86%.
some of the reasons
That's
why.
a 3 standard deviation move.
89.
Stocks higher in sympathy
Marvell
with Intel.
is absolutely. I might have to sell another clip of this in a minute. It's very, very, very rare that you'll see me doing what I'm doing right now, guys. These situations come around very, very rarely, and quite frankly, they are just. You can't take your focus off them. Look at the semiconductor ETF, guys. SMH. That's now up 18 days in a row. SMH, of course, has all the big boy semiconductors in it. That is trading on. Yeah, I mean, listen. The last time that SMH was this overbought was many, many years ago. So it's really, really interesting. And listen, being overbought doesn't necessarily mean that a stock is, but there are different situations, right? I mean, this is now day 18, right? It's almost a technical. There are no certainties in the world of trading, but the closest thing you could have to one is that when you see Marvell is now the highest conviction thing that I've got. If you have a fresh set of eyes on Marvell right now, it is super high conviction. Right, I'm just going to let that ride. It's absolutely and utterly ahead of its skis. And, AMD you could throw into the same basket, of course. And look at AMD. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's got to be. I might have to sell a clip of that too. It's just ludicrous. In fact, I'm going to sell a clip of AMD. Right, so I'm just going to do 1,000 shares. I'm going to short AMD right here, okay, guys? 1,000 shares. Just bear with me one sec, you lot. Sorry. 1,000 shares of AMD. It's just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. But fun at the same time. Super fun, actually. Right, so there we go. Got the AMD on now, and we've got everything kind of cruising. Right, there we go. So, yeah, where's my live? Here we go, guys. So yeah, I mean, I just hope, I don't know how many of you are watching, are sort of involved in this and on-piste, so to speak, but I can guarantee you, to put it in perspective for you, I haven't seen Marvell or AMD, for that matter, even AMD, certainly Marvell. This, euphoria is the best word to use, right? It's euphoric. And when you see euphoria in markets, it is a massive, massive red flag. There's no way around that. I would not be surprised at all if we saw all of these. Listen, I don't know the way today's going to play out, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if everything closed really, really red. Really red. Okay, we'll see how that goes. But that's where we're at in the game. 3 weeks ago, no one wanted to know. Now, no one can stop buying at an RSI of 90. And we haven't even got the CapEx yet from the hyperscalers, which, by the way, is literally the main pillar that holds all this stuff up. That is literally the main pillar. We've heard from the picks and shovels because they're all reporting what they've been paid by the hyperscalers from last quarter. Why don't we find out what the hyperscalers are actually got to say to us? That's going to be interesting. So there we go. Marvell's about to go red, which is a sight for sore eyes. I'm going to cover the rest of my Intel right here, 8264. So that's the clips that I sold this morning. So altogether, I've now covered 15,000 Intel, and I've shifted my and I'll see how I'll come back to that in a minute. So my Intel, the 15,000 I sold this morning at 85.67 or what it was, I've now covered that position. I've still got 5,000 shares short.
And Procter & Gamble says some suppliers can't supply at all because of war costs.
You guys have to bear with me because I'm having to really concentrate here. There's a lot going on. Right, AMD is my next little target. I mean, this is actually really fun, by the way. In case you didn't notice, I'm having quite a lot of fun because it's just insane. So AMD, I'll let that ride. I only sold a small clip of that for the time being. What else have I got on? Oracle. Do you know what? I've got some Oracle, but it's time. Yeah. Yeah. I'll see what I'm going to do with that in a minute. I might get. I've got some Microsoft. I've also got some Snowflake, which this is all just because I love the rebound in software. But there's a point at which it all. Oh my God, Snowflake's obviously down quite significantly today. Why is I haven't even had a chance to look at Snowflake today, guys. So bear with me.
VeriSign, ticker VRSN, is down 7.93%.
Why is Snowflake down 4.5%? I should know the answer, but I've been really busy with other things today. Answer, probably nothing. Oh yeah, we saw the Amazon Meta deal. Oh, that's interesting. I'll talk about that in a minute, by the way, guys. Amazon, this is just one of these moments. It's like waiting for a bus. Nothing happened in tech for 3 months, and then suddenly everyone just reports the most exciting stuff one after the other. And we just got this deal that Meta have signed a deal with Amazon, and they're going to use Amazon's chips. This is really interesting, guys. By the way, those of you who think Nvidia have no competition, and can do no wrong, just look no further than Amazon's Terranium chip. Of course, Google's TPU, Tensor Processing Unit, right? It's seriously interesting stuff, what they're doing in this space. And quite frankly, watch this space. Because, if you ask me what I think about Nvidia, I've said this for months now, it's all well and good that they've got 68% top line and bottom line growth. But how long can they do that for? These guys are, at the end of the day, they're no longer just a picks and shovels name. They're also they're also a massive capex spender, right? They're now a huge capex spender. In fact, they've committed to $550 billion in capex. It's astonishing numbers that we're dealing with, and quite frankly, you have to ask yourself the question: how much longer can they maintain the growth profile, especially when you've got AMD coming after them in the GPUs? You've got the way that GPUs and XPUs, which of course was Intel's brainchild, which is a combination between GPU and CPU, and that's the way the chips work these days, multi-purpose. Look what Intel just told us, right? Intel dead and forgotten 18 months ago. Now they're a critical part of the brain power of data centers through the CPU business, right? So the landscape is shifting. So anyone who tells you that Nvidia's a data center dominance is going to continue without any question marks is, quite frankly, in my opinion, not really considering all of the facts of the case. So I am, and what's Nvidia doing today? I would imagine where's Nvidia? So it's up a little bit, but it's kind of whimpering, right? There's nothing really to see here. So AMD, I'm going to sell one more clip at 345. Let's see what I can do here. 345. One more clip of AMD, 1,000 shares. So I've got 2,000 shares short now. And the second clip was at, let's see if I can get this done, 345. So AMD, I've now got 2,000 shares short. and I sold that second clip at 345.87. Okay, so they've got 2,000 shares. I'll give you those of you who are in Apex with me, I'll send you the average prices when I'm done. Those of you on TikTok and YouTube, you'll only see that stuff if you actually come into my community. So yeah, this is I'm going to do to AMD what I did to Intel, by the way. So this is just nuts what's going on here. But anyway, we'll just let that go for a minute. So we've got a couple of clips of AMD on the go. What's Marvell doing? Marvell is about to go red, so that's under control. So it's all nicely under control. Let me have a little look across the rest of the book. Illuma is green, that's nice. Fubo not doing anything, who cares? Aiden, as I mentioned, is solid. Novo's up 4.5%. Well done, you. I like that. Very happy about my cover yesterday in AAOI. I might have another crack at that later. It's actually a trader's paradise, this tape, guys. It really is. And I've taken a bit of a beating over the last few days in Marvell and NASDAQ and a few other things. But the book, as you can see, is still solid. I've still got the P&L pretty much where it was a couple of weeks ago. And hopefully by the end of today, I'll be in a pretty solid situation. But I'm excited about what happens next week, guys. That's what I'm most excited about, because first and foremost, who knows what happens this weekend. Let's be optimistic and assume that a meeting in Pakistan moves forward and Trump continues to lower his tone. Oil prices come off a bit. Let's assume that happens. But then what? Then if the market doesn't sell off today, it will do, by the way. It has to happen. There's no way the market is going to go into the hyperscaler conference calls like this. So I think that's my thought process, right? That's why I'm so excited about what's going on here. And I'm going to have to sell some more AMD. Just bear with me one sec. Just so exciting. Just bear with me here, kids. Kitties. Where are we? AMD. There we go. Okay. Nice one. We're in business here, mate. Okay. Okay. Take the Intel off. Whatever. Okay. So look at Marvell. Love it. Right. So it's all struggling, and I like it. Let me see what's the next one on the agenda here. I'm going to have to do that one. I'm going to have to do it on the 50. I might get really aggressive with this AMD. Right, sorry, TikTok. I hope you can see me all right. Sorry, TikTok. Right, so Apex. Let's just take a breath, shall we? Marvell red. Exhausted, this stock. Absolutely exhausted. AMD, it's all nicely under control. I might have to resell those clips of Intel. I'll just say this to you guys, right? There are different situations that happen in markets, and those of you who know me will know that those of you who have known me now for 10 months, when have you seen me so excited about a situation? I haven't been, because it's just so overcooked. So it might just be a short-term trade. It probably will just be a short-term trade. I don't care. All I know is that I plan on profiting from it between now and when we hear from our first big tech company next Wednesday night. And I need to get the schedule in front of me, but let's just find out, for example, so let me just remind myself when we have, so we've got Microsoft. Let's go through these numbers. So Microsoft, they change them around every single time. It's weird. So what are we now? The 24th. So the 29th is Microsoft. Meta is going to be very interesting. They're obviously a big spender as well. And it'll be the 29th and the 30th. There we go. They're also on the 29th. So the 29th and the 30th are going to be big nights for us in these markets. And then Apple usually go at the end, but it's hard to tell when. I'll have to double check what Apple. There we go. 29th for Amazon as well. All three of those guys are on the 29th. And then we've got Apple, of course. Apple got nothing to do with the hyperscaler thing. They're on the 30th. So anyway, it's going to be a big week next week, guys. I'm very excited about it. And quite frankly, I'll look at Intel. Ooh, I need to sell that clip again, don't I? It's gonna. Let's just talk about Intel for a sec, guys. anyone look at the analysts today? Right, the analysts were, all over the shop. Bank of America and J.P. Morgan. So there's the top 4 investment banks in the world, 2 of whom came out with their reports today, and their price target on Intel went up to 45 for J.P. Morgan and 56 for Bank of America. I mean, need I say more? Okay, I'm going to re-short 5,000 shares of Intel at 82.03. There we go. Intel. I'm just going to tell my trader. 1 second. Okay, 82. Yeah. Right, 82.03. 5,000 shares of Intel sold. I told you it's going to be high touch today, guys. It's going to be. And look at Marvell. Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah. What's the matter? Ah, the camera's gone off, for fuck's sake. Oh, fucking hell. What's going on here? Wait. Oh, no. Alright, there we go. Turn on camera. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Guys, apologies. Rainus, thank you, mate, for your help. Rainus, I can't possibly.
Coming up at 10
trying to trade
o'clock,
at the same time.
University of
It's
Michigan,
actually quite tricky doing a
consumer
live when I'm
sentiment.
also trading really high touch stuff, just to be crystal clear with you. Doing my best, though. Doing my best. Okay. Right, that one. Okay, that's all good. Oh, AMD. AMD's absolutely flying. Look at that. Right, here we go, guys. I'll look at Marvell. Goodbye. Oh, this will be fun. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm trying to do this and I've got to take care of the book first and foremost, as you're probably aware. I'm going to do another clip of it. What have I done? 2. I'll do one more clip of AMD probably in a bit. I'll just let that run for the minute. I'm most enjoying just looking at Marvell, which is just 7% off the high earlier on. Guys, you've got to remember. Hang on, you've got to remember that this company is, the short-term hype involved in this stock is just insane. SanDisk, I sold a small clip yesterday just to ease back into this one. We're not going to hear from them until, I think it's the 30th. Next week we hear from SanDisk. It'll be interesting. But they are ultimately, I probably won't hold them into earnings. They might have, yet another massive squeeze higher. I quite like when I know this sounds bizarre. Some of you guys might think that you might not be able to relate to this kind of mentality, but I kind of enjoy situations like this where where I know it's overbought, I know there's a chance it can go higher. So what I do is I do a small clip of a short into the earnings, not caring at all. Like if Intel had sold off really aggressively last night, I would have actually been annoyed because I only had 5,000 shares. So now what I'm going to do is, it doesn't matter how good Intel is, right? Now I've got it cornered. This is a particular type of trading strategy, right? It's not, I do plenty of other things, but this is just a high touch short-term trading strategy, which I use. Right now the stock is cornered, it's in the corner, right? Every single bit of news that you could have is in the stock. Every single bit of options activity, the whole thing, it's just all in there. So now I've got much higher conviction in terms of what happens over the next week, and I can make my money back and more. By with more comfort, shall we say. Novo's flying, I love it. And there's AMD, right? Okay. So, what am I going to do? Qualcomm? No, my beloved Qualcomm. Amazing. This stock, I own this. I used to own this stock because it's so cheap. Big buyback, of course. But they're not even. They are just riding the coattails. It's so funny. They don't even make CPUs, and they certainly don't make GPUs. It's quite funny watching the sympathy trade.
U.S. Central Command says
so
U.S.
I hope
forces
Apex is
have
having fun because this is
redirected
basically
34
all
vessels during the
going pretty
blockade.
much to plan today so far. I'm having it's great fun actually. AMD is going to be my next target. I might get really aggressive on that in a minute. Guys, at Apex, do you mind if I just like literally do my job without having to try and like can you just watch me do my job, because I'm actually not concentrating because I'm thinking about what I'm saying to you. And I will keep talking, but I've just got to concentrate. Right, I'm doing one more clip of AMD. Short. So that's 3,000 shares of AMD that I now have short. Yeah. Okay. Well, then, if you're on the live, mate, just listen to what I'm saying. Right. I'm shorting the hell out of AMD. So I'm speaking to a friend of mine, by the way. Right. If you're on the live, I'm going to talk to you on the live. Okay. Right. Then I don't have to speak to you there. Right. So let's not speak in code. I'm shorting the hell out of AMD. I am short Intel. I'm short Marvell. Look at Marvell. Goodbye. Beautiful. I'm going to let this thing run, guys. It's so over. It's so. I mean, I might have to reduce a tiny bit of risk in this thing, just because I'm too big. So maybe I'll just. Oh, look at it go, man! Look at it go. Oh, how beautiful! Right, let me just check my book quickly, guys, if you don't mind. What have we got going on here?
In Synopsys shares also moved 8.2%. That's a 3 standard deviation move.
Marvell, that's much more attractive. Okay, I'm a bit big.
Again, coming up at 10 o'clock. Michigan Consumer Sentiment survey estimate is 48.5.
What else have I got going on here? So,
just
if anyone wants to
ask
a question, by the way, I will attempt to answer it. Hang on one sec. Where's my chat? Right, Apex, I can see the chat if you want to put a question in the main chat, by the way. And look at Intel. Woo! My dear friend, you know who you are. Cover some of that Intel here, mate. I hope you didn't do it already. Poet worth a crack. This is, honestly, guys, it's Christmas. Not so much. AAOI is, though. I'm going to have another crack at that thing. So I'm going to short 2,000 shares of AAOI. This is actually fun. Right, AAOI, 2,000 shares. Let's get that done. Okay. There we go. Right, take that one. Poet, I'm going to leave Poet alone for the minute, mate. Right, 41.10, 41.10. Okay, 41.10. 10, 41.10. Right, so 3K AMD. Fuck's sakes. Okay. Right, that's that one. What else have we got on the go? Poor old Avis car. Look at that. Still, it's red again. Oh my God, Marvell. Goodbye. So good. And AMD, I want to be more aggressive. Right, fuck. Okay, right. Look at AMD. Woo! Sorry, guys. Right. Yeah, sorry, I'm very hyperactive and all over the shop, guys, because this is a very, very unusual situation. Okay, I've got literally, I know what's going on here, and right, I'm going to cover 2,500 shares of Marvell just because I need to reduce my risk a bit. I'm going to do that at 159. Let's see what I can get here. 159. Okay. All right, that's done. 159.46. Okay, 159.46. 2,500 Marvell has been reduced. I've got to write this down.
Reliance fourth quarter net income 169.7 B rupees. Estimate 169.43 B rupees.
46. Okay. So that's that reduced a little bit. Nice. Intel. Look at Intel. Absolutely over its skis, guys. 20 cents in EPS. 20 cents. They're not making any money. Classic. But you know, this is the name of the game. So yeah. Cover that. By the way, my phone. One second. I've got to tell my phone. Cover that. It. Oh my God. Right, I'm going to cover that clip of Intel that I bought, that I sold before again. So I'm going to stop trading Intel in a minute. So plus 5K of Intel. 181.20. Right, okay. 81.97. Oh,
Comcast is down 6.45%.
Okay, so I'm going to get. So I finished shorting the clips
move.
today of Intel. So, and then I'm going to keep the 5 that I've got. 81.20. So I'm just waiting for my trader. 81.19. Okay. Okay, I'll get back to that in a minute. Right, so there's a lot of stuff that I need to update Apex with after this. Good Lord. So that's me done on Intel for the minute. I'm going to keep the 5,000 I've still got, but I've made, I don't know, 50K or something today, which is a nice little add-on to the rest of the market. Marvell, as I mentioned, has I covered 2,500 shares just to reduce the risk a little bit. And, you know, it's still fighting its way back. It's unbelievable, this market. Wow. Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, I don't think I'll do any more shorting for the time being. Let me have a look at the longs. The longs, what have I got? Microsoft, Oracle. Ugh. I love Oracle, as you well know, guys, but you've got to remember it's had a massive rally off the lows. Can easily fade back. Just not, yeah, I think I'll keep it for the time being. What else have I got that's worth talking about?
20
PayPal.
seconds till consumer
PayPal's
sentiment.
there. It's all good. Novo, the star of the show today, weirdly. On a risk-adjusted basis. Not Poet is super tempting, must admit. But it's yeah. I can't get too snazzy with all this
Michigan
stuff.
5-10 year NFL expectations at 3.5% versus prelim 3.4%. UMich April 1st year's inflation expectations at 4.7% versus prelim 4.8%. UMich final April con sentiment at record low 49.8, estimate 48.5.
Estimate was 4.8%.
Yeah, inflation expectations have ticked up again. No, they haven't. They're
5 to
pretty
10
much
year
in line.
inflation
But
expectations
you've got to remember,
at
inflation expectations have gone up by a
versus
whole percentage
3.4%.
point. Right? That's something that the bond market's kind of listening to, but nothing else is. The rest of the market's not really listening
Current
to.
conditions come in at 52.5
so
versus estimate of 51. So again, Michigan consumer
What else
sentiment
is
coming in
worth
at
talking about on my screen here? I'm
49.8
just
versus the
going through it
estimate
for
of
you guys.
48.5.
Restricted some audiences. Okay. Nvidia struggling. I mean, it's all just a bit boring. Netflix, such a boring stock at the moment, guys. But I do own it, and I own it because it is a bit boring. It's a bit oversold. They're lacking. Listen, the reason why Netflix are struggling is because the market doesn't understand what their strategy is, and that's a very important thing. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's, you know, if you look at any company that's, even Meta, right? Meta has been punished aggressively by the market at least twice in the last few years because they didn't convince the market of what of what their strategy is. Way too much capex. One could even say reckless capex, and ultimately it cost them a lot of reputation.
And just
they have
noting
to always
that
wind it back
consumer
in again.
sentiment figure was a record low.
Well done, Zach. Just reading about his AMD. I wish you should have done my trading for me, mate. I told you to buy AMD in 2013 when it was at $2.20, almost bankrupt. We could be having this conversation on a yacht somewhere. Nonetheless, we're not. We're having it here. And yeah, it's all a bit boring. What else is going on? Estee Lauder, I've got that in the book. That's ticking along quite nicely. It's just not really doing much. The Puig merger is still an open question as to how the stock split works and whether or not Estee Lauder are going to have to borrow, well, not have to, but want to borrow $5 billion from JP Morgan to fund the deal and try and do it in cash and stock. The market probably won't like either of those outcomes. Nonetheless, I do quite like the recovery story here. It's going to be a bit of a slow burner, though, that's for sure. Illuma ticking up quite nicely now. It's just those of you wondering when I'm going to buy the rest of my, you know, I sold a clip of Illuma at 220 spot 22, I think it was, and because it's obviously, you know, it's a volatile name, right? So I'm a trader. I don't need to hold on to it. But then I will buy it back again. But I'm not in a rush. Next week we've got lots to digest next week, right? The market may well sell off Monday, Tuesday. Today a little bit, maybe. Monday, Tuesday, and then we might get blockbuster numbers and we might rip again. Who knows? But the good news is the book will be ready for all those outcomes by the time we get there. And someone's talking about the Russell Index coming off, which is not a massive surprise because it's all the economically sensitive stuff in there, as well as other things, of course. But it's definitely not a market. Listen, I'm just very, very, very keen to watch this market fade. It's pushing its luck in multiple departments, and quite frankly, it's long overdue. It's amazing watching the same names every single day up. But look at the economically sensitive stuff, guys. Look at the miners, look at the banks. You know, they're all running out of gas to a degree.
S&P is now up just 0.13%.
So yeah, any questions? Snowflake. Let's talk about Snowflake. Someone's asking me about Snowflake. For God's sake. Yeah, I mean, I've got a small clip of Snowflake, but listen, software. I just don't like the look of it. Software. I mean, look at it. It's just software's. You've got to be
regarding
careful,
the
right?
Fed,
We've just had a massive bounce.
An ABC reporter says the DOJ is expected to drop its criminal investigation into Powell as soon as Friday.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to cut all my software stocks apart from Microsoft. I'm going to sell Oracle and I'm going to sell Snowflake. Just because I can't be bothered. They've had a massive bounce. They can easily come back. Right, selling where are we? I've got how many Oracle? I've got 5,000 Oracle. I'm sell 5,000 Oracle. And how much Snowflake have I got? I've only got a tiny bit of Snowflake. It's not even worth it. It's literally 273,000. I'm going to keep that. And I'll add to it and trade it and whatever. But I'm going to get rid of Oracle. I'll come back to it. I don't need it in the book right now. It's just too much stress because it can easily come back 10%, and I just don't need that. I just don't need that stress in my book right now. So Oracle's gone. 5,000 shares sold. Yeah. Okay. So that's another problem solved. It'll probably close green now after all that. I just don't care. I need to focus on the high conviction stuff. What else is there to talk to you about on this screen? Look at Novo. This could be a moment, guys. Just when you least expect it. Just remember, right? There is method to my madness, right? Those of you who knew me, none of you who are listening right now, when I was banging on about Intel when it was at $18 a share, about how their CPU business was going to get into the data center. Fantastic idea. If only I'd held on to the stock. So ultimately, I messed it up. But just remember, Novo are a sleeping giant. It's a tricky business because it's highly competitive, GLP-1. But they've got, remember, 72% of Novo's business revenue, 72%, guys, comes from diabetes. Nothing to do with GLP-1. I mean, they're obviously intricately linked, but it's a solid recurring business for them. So that is that, and I'm quite happy to see that on my screen. Oh, SanDisk is just so boring. I'm just gonna let it run. The market is trying so hard. Tech is trying so hard to stay green. It probably will do to today, but Monday, Tuesday, it's going to be it's going to be hopefully a different story.
DOJ expected to drop criminal probe of Powell, ABC says.
That's interesting. That's my squawk box telling me about J&J having the dropping the regulatory suit. It's actually very boring. Right. So, are there any questions? Because I'm going to have to jump and do and speak to some clients. Hang on. What have we got here? Is Axon a buy? Is Nvidia a buy right now? I mean, that question is just based on what I said at the beginning of the live, which actually you may not have heard that, to be fair. Nvidia are, in my opinion, are not a buy right now. No, I think that they're becoming a bit worrying in terms of the competition they have from these next generation chips. I mean, listen, they're a fantastic company, but they're, how long can they keep up 65% revenue growth, 65% EPS growth? Not much longer. So the jury's out for me on that stock. To be fair, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But I don't have any particular.
Procter and Gamble sees full year capex of sales 4 to 5%.
There's so many other things to own
from company slides.
so I don't need to own that. All right, guys, I need to do some admin, and I hope that you can join me. I'm going to do these lives all the time, and I realised today was a bit hectic for you. I apologise, but it's just a crazy market, so I couldn't do as much questions and sort of like talk, and I'm just literally all over the shop looking. It's like being a kid in a candy store to a degree. It's quite stressful at the same time. So yeah, Apex, I'll be with you in the chat in a minute. TikTok, thank you so much for joining me. And I'll do this all the time. All the best. Bye bye. Oh, good. My head hurts.
Procter and Gamble sees full year direct share buybacks around $5 billion.
That's a good point.
Shares of SanDisk hitting a 52-week high.